Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CSGO Clutch Podcast, sponsored by PrizePicks. My name is Adam Cohn, I am your host. It is a solo pod edition here on the podcast today. And before I get into anything, let's plug our fantastic sponsor, PrizePicks. Head over to prizepicks.com, check them out, download the PrizePicks app, and if you're a new subscriber and you want to check them out, sign up using the promo code CLUTCH. Again, that's promo code CLUTCH. New depositors will get a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. It's a fantastic promotion going on right now, and Dan and I very much encourage all of y'all checking out PrizePicks. They are awesome. All right, with that being said, I want to get into a little bit of housekeeping first. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this. So, for Dan, he is going to be taking some time off from the podcast. Not that he wants to be here with you all. Due to some work-related reasons, he's just got some work stuff going on. And he can't record some of the podcasts for a while, so he is going to be taking some time away from the podcast. I'm still going to be talking to him on a regular basis. He's still available on social media. Follow him on Twitter at Wandelch, Wandelch. But he's going to be taking just a little bit of time away from the podcast. He just has some work stuff going on right now. And as we all know, ladies and gentlemen, just sometimes work does take priority. Obviously, being, work pays the bills. So, with that being said, I can't wait to have Dan back on the podcast. So, going forward for just a little bit, this is not permanent. I want to stress this again. This is not permanent. Again, this is not permanent at all. Dan will be back. Again, this is not permanent. Dan will be back to the CSGO Clutch podcast. And he'll probably pop in and out as well until his work situations start clearing up and he can start doing these more on the daily like we have been. So, but yeah, work's got to come first, and I completely understand that. I respect it. And give Dan a shout out on social media or any Discords that he's in. Just let him know you guys are thinking of him and can't wait to have him back on the podcast. Because I got to tell you, I can't wait to have him back. I love bantering with them. I love debating with them. Love when we agree on stuff. When we have disagreements, we can go and talk about stuff. So, with that being said, I'm not going to put this on the description for the YouTube channel. And just know that is a little bit of housekeeping here. So, solo pod's going forward for a while. With that being said, we'll get into today's slate. So again, Dan will be rejoining the CSGO Clutch podcast as soon as those work situations start giving him a little bit more time where he's not like in the office for what feels like 10,000 hours a week. So I'm sure we've all probably had those jobs. I know I have, where sometimes just working late and you got to take care of other things. So Dan, buddy, my pal, my friend, I can't wait to have you back on the podcast. And yeah, with that being said, let's head into the solo podcast edition. We're going to do like we always do here on the podcast. I'm going to recap the previous day's winning lineup at the main Large Field GPP. Captain Zywoo, Masuda, and Apex three-man team vitality stack as they swept Astralis. Zywoo was the optimal captain. Oh, excuse me. Zywoo was the optimal captain. 117.75 Draftkings points in the captain slot, 44 kills, 9 assists, 28 deaths, 7 first kills, 1 4K. Masuda also went bonkers, 47 frags, 8 assists, 25 deaths, 12 first kills, and an ace of 5K. Apex was very low owned, and so was it Masuda. We'll get to Snappy in a second, but Apex 30, 14, and 28. With 3 first kills and a 4K for 60.5 DK points. In my lineup, I would Apex 1 off. He was the one I wanted to get up to. I'll go over my lineup with y'all in a minute. Let's get into the 2 from Team Spirit. It was against Bad News Bears. We've been doing this entire week. We're playing teams against Bad News Bears. We're going to play Ents against Bad News Bears again. But again, so this was not a 3-man that took down against Bad News Bears. And it was actually some of the lower priced Team Spirit players that won this. So SDY and Chopper, they were the ones from Team Spirit that you needed. Snappy at 4,800 at 5.2% ownership had a day. Want to know why Snappy had a day? Let's head over here to hltv.org. Let's head over here to results of Pro League Season 14, and let's actually take a look at it because oh, Snappy went +7. Yeah, Mirage happened. Snappy went +23. That's why. Overpass, Snappy -13. Nuke, Snappy -3. Snappy went 32-9 in one map. 141 ADR, a 2.44 rating in one map. I'm just going to let that sit there for a minute. Okay, now that I sat there for a minute, what a performance by Snappy on Mirage. Overall, he was only +7, but the one map made a difference. He ended up being optimal for this winning lineup. Congrats to Keystone 2028. Looks like they have the same lineup 4 times, and they took down all the first place prizes. Awesome job, Keystone 2028. Congrats on your quadruple tie of first place. Looking back on it, Snappy for Mints is a weird one-off. Weird first map. I'm okay with it. The other 5, 3-man Team Vitality stack, love it. 2-man Team Spirit stack, love it. Someone from Ments, totally fine with that. I'm okay with this. Again, if Snappy didn't have that ridiculous performance on that one map, he's not sitting here in this winning lineup. So, not a big deal. But we move on to today's slate. So, I'm happy again. Congrats to Keystone 2028. Congrats on your Snappy play. Wasn't a terrible play. You captured the variance. Again, it is a video game, and variance happens. But I think one thing we're seeing from Team Vitality, Masuda is the clear number 2. And Apex has become the number 3. I think Shox is taking a back seat. And as for, let's actually go back to the Team Vitality game against Astralis. Team Vitality beat Astralis on Overpass 16-9. And Team Vitality beat Astralis on their pick of Inferno 16-9 as well. Shox was +3, Apex was +2, Masuda +22, and Zyru +16. Not a good day for Astralis. Team Vitality looking like back to form. Kyojin is still the 5. You can debate right now between Shox and Apex for 3rd. Apex has just looked really good so far in this tournament. I think I'd still rather have Apex 3rd. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's actually head back into today's slate. And hit that like button down below, ladies and gentlemen. Leave a comment down below. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. That way there, each and every single one of you know when we drop one of these podcasts. I'm going to be trying to get them out probably, right around the same time. Not going to really change up the schedule too much for right now. And with that being said, let's do this. Let's head into, let's get into this slate, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I saw a notification up on the other screen in Discord. All right, let's get into this slate. I want to let everyone know, this is not a typo. All 3 of these games are going to be happening at the same time. We saw this in ESL Pro League Season 13. That the final day of group play, every team did in fact go and play at the same time. So let's head over to ESL Pro League Season 14. And let's take a look at the Group A standings. This matchup tomorrow between Heroic and Astralis means a lot for Heroic as much as it does Astralis. If Astralis lose, there's a very good chance that they're out and they will not be making the playoffs. Hence, will make it in. Now, Heroic are undefeated. If Team Vitality defeat, who are they playing? Team Vitality are playing Team Spirit, and Team Spirit look terrible. They've won 1 match, and that was against Bad News Bears. All right, that's fine. Heroic right now have ownership of first place. Team Vitality beat Spirit, which I think they will. I think Heroic own whatever tiebreak I would assume over Team Vitality is. We have to see how this plays out. So, yeah, because they beat Team Vitality already. So, this means a lot for Heroic. They want to make sure they stay in first place in the group. They want to go undefeated and get on to the quarterfinal spot in the playoffs. Team Vitality, I believe, are locked in to a playoff spot. I believe Ents and Astralis are fighting for the last playoff spot. And that's pretty much where we're going. Listen to the casters tomorrow. But again, so we're going to have Heroic versus Astralis, Team Vitality versus Team Spirit, and Ents versus the Bad News Bears. Heroic and Astralis is going to be a banger. With that being said, let's get into this match. Heroic are very interestingly priced. Tessus at 9,000, Cadian at 8,000, Stown at 6,800, Shush is 5,800, Refresh still getting zero respect at 5,200. On the Astralis side of things, Dupree 8,200, the highest priced Astralis player. Magisk, after we've seen him very highly owned. I mean, not highly owned, highly priced, I mean. Is at 7,800 on this slate. Zipix is not playing. Do not play him. Lucky at 6,600. Bubsky 5,800. Still under $6,000. Still underpriced. Glaive at 4,600. Look, this game is going to be deciding who wins and loses a GPP tomorrow. And that's... I don't think it's somewhat of an exaggeration to say that. Why? Because if you take, let's just say, we play Heroic, Team Vitality, and Ents. Of those three teams, which one's going to be low owned? Ents is going to be owned. Team Vitality going to be high owned. This game, I think, decides it. Now, if you're picking... Astralis are some of the best leverage on the entire slate. Okay? If you're picking Astralis to win, and you think they beat Heroic and upset them, then play Astralis. I would encourage you to play a 1 to 2 man stack of Astralis. If you think Astralis go out and sweep Heroic, then play probably a 2 to 3 man stack of Astralis. Astralis represent the leverage on this slate. It's not the Bad News Bears, and it look too good. Team Spirit, sure, you want to play them against Team Vitality, by all means. Team Vitality look to be in top 5 form. So I'll get to that game in a minute, but just know that for now, this particular game, I don't know what to do as of this podcast, because the GPP mind in me says play Astralis. Stat-wise, and what we see in this tournament, don't go against Heroic. Heroic, I think, are going to come in high-owned. My gut says to play Astralis. Much as I think Heroic wins, I think a 1 or 2 man from Astralis could get it done. Now, with that being said, it's extremely risky. But like Dan and I were talking about earlier this week, I want first place. I don't want to min cash. I want first place. And what's going to get me to first? Astralis being optimal is going to get me to first, in my opinion. Dupree, I think, is a key to this slate. I think Bubsky's a key to this slate. They're my favorite too. Glaive at 4,600 is extremely underpriced. If you're playing anything greater than a 3 max, play Glaive. In a 1 entry, I'm probably not playing Glaive unless I need the salary savings. I think Lucky is going to be completely outmatched here. He's looked good, but now you're going against the best team in this group. I think Lucky's outmatched. I don't think he does well at all. And Mages, quite frankly, I don't know what the F to make of. Let's head over to Pinnacle real quick. I know I've been forgetting to do one thing this week. I'm like, what else am I forgetting to load up when I do these podcasts? What? It's Pinnacle! Let's head over to the Pinnacle odds real quick. Let's head over here, leagues. I'm going to go over ESL Pro League. And we're going to head over to the stats for tomorrow. Heroic come in as a minus 181 favorite. Team Vitality come in as a minus 197 favorite against Team Spirit. And Ents come in as a minus 1,880 favorite. Oh, buddy. So, again, the leverage is Astralis and Team Spirit. As we've been doing all week, we're not playing Bad News Bears unless you're playing with a 20 max or above, and again at 5 to 15% ownership. Let's head on over here again and continue to talk about this game real quick. Cadian burned a lot of people. Let's get to the heroic side of things. Cadian burned a lot of people. Burned me, I played him. I'll go back and show you my lineup. No problem with that. I captained Refresh. I needed salary savings. I wanted to captain Magisk from Team Spirit. I was not able to do that. I couldn't get the salary savings that I wanted. So I ended up on, I really wanted Dexter. Well, 75.5 DK points. Love that. Magic's 67.5 DK points. 9,000, not enough, but for what they did, I love it. Cadian went 38, 10, and 53. 24 DK points. It's not getting it done. So, I'm going right back to the well on Cadian. I think Cadian is the best play from Heroic. He's going against Lucky. This is his, what, 5th Tier 1 match? Official match? I'm not counting scrims. I'm not counting practices. I'm counting official matches. I think this is going to be a Cadian day. I had no problem captaining Cadian. I don't know if I'm making it in my core yet, because I'm looking at pricing with all of you for the first time on this podcast. But I want to point out Tessa's up here at 9,000. He's been consistently high priced. He's been well worth it. We take a look at his stats very quickly. $94 points against Bad News Bears, 76 DK points against Team Spirit, 50 points against Team Vitality, 41 points against Ents. Not exactly trending in the right direction. I think Tessus needs to step up to beat Astralis. However, he's my third favorite. I'm going with Stown at 6,800 due to price, and I think he's the second best play from Heroic against Astralis. Cadian 1, Stown 2, Tessus 3. Shoosh 4 and Refresh 5. I think I want to make Refresh 4. It's like a Refresh 4A, Shoosh 4B. If you need the salad, I just like what Refresh has been doing. He's had a really good tournament so far. 62 DK points, 83, 59, 57. Shoosh. Alright, Shoosh comes in here at 66 points, 37, 60. Yeah, I'm going Refresh 4, Shoosh 5. When it was reported when Shush and Refresh came on that Shush was going to be the support player for Heroic. So, I'm going Refresh 4, Shush 5. Heading on over to game number 2, Team Vitality versus Team Spirit. I am all over Team Vitality. Want really, in a 23 max, I'll take one lineup with some Team Spirit, and above that, like going above the 3 max to a 20 max and above, absolutely, I want like 20 to 40% Team Spirit exposure. They're still too good of a team for what their recent results have been. Zyro up here at 9,400 does come in as the third highest priced player on the slate. Again, and no surprising, Spinks at N800, Hades at 9,600. D-High, 8,800. We'll get to that game in a minute. But kind of no surprise that it's a high-owned, or high-priced, rather. With that being said, Zyru firmly in play. My favorite play. Actually, second favorite play from Team Vitality. Masuda has been fantastic. I'm sure he's looked fantastic. Haven't really watched much of the games. The clear number 2 on this team. This kid that they've been grooming and training and wanting to arrive. What used to be the number 5 on this team has emerged as the number 2, as the best rifler on the team, arguably. Is the clear number 2 option on this team right now. He's fragging like crazy. He's taking a look at his tournament. And Masuda has very much. He is 62 DK points. Alright, 62, 73, 29. It was Heroic. 90 against Astralis. 90 against Astralis. Masuda's my core play on the slate. I'm going to captain Masuda if at all possible. I'm going right back to that well. Masuda 1, Zyru 2, Apex 3, Shocks 4, Kyojin 5. Kyojin I'm not playing in a single entry or 3 max. I will only play Kyojin in a 20 max at 5 to 20% ownership. On the Team Spirit side of things, we got some players that are a little too cheap. SDY 5,600 too cheap. Chopper 4,400 extremely too cheap. They got the Team Vitality discount. Mir is $8,600, ladies and gentlemen. Dexter, $7,600, and Magic's $6,200. In order, Dexter 1, Mir 2, SDY 3, Magic's 4, Chopper 5. Again, I have interest in both sides of this, but only for mass multi-entry. Team Vitality, my favorite stack on the slate. Yes, overends. Well, let's get into that last game here on the slate. Before we get into the last game here on the slate, follow the CSGO Clutch Podcast on Twitter at CSGO Clutch Pod, and you can follow me on Twitter at AdamWX21. And again, follow Dan on Twitter at Wandelch, WANDELCH. Let's get into the final game here on the slate. Dan, I miss you, buddy. Can't wait to have you back on the pod. Ents versus Bad News Bears. Spinks, 9,800. Hades, 9,600. D-Ha at 8,800. Dodo, $7,200. And Snappy at 6,000. With Snappy's performance against Heroic, there was a good chance Snappy comes in at double-digit ownership on the slate. Maybe even pushes over 20%. I got no problem if you want to play Snappy. It's Bad News Bears. All 5 of Team Ents are firmly in play. D-Ha, my favorite. Hades, second. Spinks is my third favorite on the slate. I just think Hades against what Junior's been showing. If he... Not getting it done against Team Spirit, I'm sorry. It's been the second weakest team in this group. Hades is a great opper. So, D-Ha 1, Hades 2, Spinks 3, Dodo 4. I can make a case for Dodo 3, Spinks 4, and Snappy 5. Everyone from Team Ents are in play. Bad News Bears, fade. 20 max, 5 to 15%. Same thing I've been saying all week. I'm going to go Swisher 1, Junior 2, Spongy 3, Janji 4, Shake Zula 5. Heading on over, ladies and gentlemen, to our core value GPP and favorite team stack segment. Core play for me on the slate is Masuda. Kind of not surprising, said it earlier. Value, Glaive, $4,600, no excuse for it. Bubsky at $5,800, SDY $5,600, Refresh. Probably my most favorite value play at $5,200. And GPP play is Tessus and Cadian. Let's get over here into prize picks, ladies and gentlemen. Refresh the page. Head over here to the CSGO tab. What do we have? We got some games going on. We got a game going on tonight. We got it's map 3. Snatchy 41.5 against the Lingby Vikings. That seems about right. He's been looking really good. Harris against the Ithaca Boars, 40.5. Excuse me. Seems about right. I don't know what his stats are on 777. That's you join them. That's the same. I don't know if it's the same Harris that was on Dignitas. I'm not sure. Let's see. A lot of good lines on this slate. A lot of good lines. So what I'm looking at, ladies and gentlemen, is ships here for Skate against B8. 38.5. That's a tight line. I think he comes in at 38 or he comes in just over. Here we go. Here's some of the ESL games. Tessus 39.5 against Astralis. Stalin 38.5 against Astralis. Trap lines making me want to play him. Magisk 35.5 and Lucky 35.5 against Heroic. See, the thing for Astralis is if you think they go over this and you think they win, I don't. I think Heroic win this game. I think Heroic 2-0 Astralis. I think it's going to be closer maps than people think, but got some really tight lines here. Oh, hello! Apex 32.5. Smash the over, ladies and gentlemen. That's too low. Magisk 33.5 against Team Vitality. I'd take the over, but that's a trap line. Dodo against the Bad News Bears, 36.5. I'd take the over. We got some really good lines on Prize Picks for this slate. All right, so let's go back over and recap. Apex, smash the over. All right, smash the over. Test this under. Stown over. Apex over. This is a trap, but if you're in a flex play, over from Magisk. Dodo over. That's going to do it for this edition of the CSGO Clutch Podcast. Again, follow us on Twitter at CSGO Clutch Pod. I promise I'm going to be doing a lot more with that Twitter. I got to get better at that, maintaining that account, but we're going to have some new stuff popping out on there. And again, can't wait to have Dan back on the pod. If you have any questions, reach out to me on Twitter at AdamWX21 or reach out to the podcast on Twitter at CSGO Clutch Pod. Reach out to Dan on Twitter at Wandelch, WANDELCH. I'll catch you guys for the next CSGO Draftkings main slate. Latest, peoples. Good luck on the slate.